Okay, so based on our finding and discussion, we know that Egypt has a rich history and culture dating back thousands of years, starting with the pharaonic culture, then Christianity and Islam. Egypt is among the earliest civilizations. Its culture has been affected by many other cultures and ethnic groups who either lived in or invaded the country, creating a melting pot. The way the cultures blended together might be difficult for foreigners to understand, but once you do understand and appreciate the traditions, the experience in Egypt will be like none other. Egypt's long history, tourist attractions, and geographic location make it an ideal destination for business and tourism. But before you visit or develop an Arabic translation strategy for doing business in Egypt, it is important to understand the culture and traditions and what impacts them. Egypt has been prey to many invaders throughout history and recently due to economic and political problems, but Egyptians has a strong sense of humor and they find humor in everything, including themselves. Is what keep people going despite all hardships. Next is our simple finding about culture in United States. The culture of the United States of America is primarily of Western origin, but its influence include European American, Asian American, African American, Latin American, and Native American peoples and their cultures. The United States has its own distinct social and cultural characteristics, such as dialect, music, arts, social habits, cuisines, and folklore. The United States is ethnically diverse as a result of large-scale European immigration throughout its history. Its hundreds of indigenous tribes and cultures, and through African American slavery followed by emancipations. America is an Anglophone country with a legal system derived from Anglo common law. Religion plays a major role in the lives of Americans, and the United States is home to people of all faiths and creeds. According to census data, nearly three-quarters of the American population self-identifies as Christian. About half of those practice one of the many Protestant faiths, and over one-quarter follows the precepts of the Roman Catholic Church. Additionally, a small percentage of people belong to the Church of Latter-day Saints, better known as the Mormon Church. These numbers, however, do not accurately reflect religious participation in the country, which has dwindled gradually every year since the 1950s. The United States is also known for its very vibrant movie industry, the largest in the world. For the most part, the movie industry is headquartered in the California city of Hollywood, and the American movies are popular worldwide. Americans have a very rich and storied theatrical history and tradition. The city of New York, which is home to Broadway, is considered the hub of the theater industry in the US, but most major cities also boast several large theater venues, as well as opera houses and community theaters. Music is ultra popular in the United States, especially among young adults and teens. Americans have scores of popular genres from which to choose, including jazz, country and westerns, bluegrass, rock and roll, gospel and Christian music, rhythm and blues, rap and hip hop. The gastronomy of United States is as varied as its people, with the different regions of the country having very different styles of cuisines. People who enjoy seafood will simply relish the northeast part of the United States, an area famous for its fresh fish, Maine lobster, and New England clams. Lobster rolls consisting of fresh lobster with mayonnaise or butter and served on a hot dog bun or other type of roll can be found in the region's many lobster shacks, and its world-famous clam chowder and a cream-based soup with fresh clams, seafood and potatoes is enjoyed throughout the country by locals and tourists alike. Dairy items are also very popular in the Northeast, especially ice cream. The American South is also known for its delicious comfort food, home style of cooking. Some of America's most emblematic foods, fried chicken, cornbread, and macaroni and cheese, originated in the South and still enjoyed today. Although not for the health-conscious, due to the fried manner in which most Southern dishes are prepared, once you get a taste of Southern food, you may just want to extend your visit. Thank you.
Okay, so Aina, based on the interview with our beloved interviewee, I think that every country has their very own culture. Like for the question number 1, we asked that what are the things and people do they miss from their own country of origin? So it shows that every culture cannot be replaced with anything, although that person has moved on to the other country for a long time.
Yes, agreed. As we can see from these two countries, how far are we go with this so our own uniqueness of our country. Each country may have its own unique traits, behaviors and attitude, but they rarely match the national stereotypes.
So moving on to the second question, where we ask them about the trendy pattern in social media in their own country. So I think the most country easily follow viral trends such as on TikTok trends, Instagram trends, because the usage of internet bring the world together by any platforms.
Yep. To be specific, as I believe, most countries use the same media, but how often the apps are used is depend on their society itself. Like in Egypt, they usually use Snapchat, but in Malaysia we use Instagram more often, right?
Yes.
Okay, so next, what I conclude from these two countries? Every movie contains their own culture, just as movies reflect the anxieties, beliefs, and values of the culture that produce them. They also help to shape and solidify a culture's belief. Sometimes the influence is trivial, as in the case of fashion trends or figures of speech.
So from my point of view, both of the interviewees agreed that it is important to represent different cultures in movie, because for movie entertainment, it can bring the cultures that been portrayed in the movie to the other country, like globally.
So next, normally in my opinion, for why mostly country has different races, it is based on its immigrations. This rise is agreeably unsurprising when one considers the image on these interviews. Racial diversity is growing in many nations, often as a result of convergence of the global marketplace in recent decades and the ease of modern travel.
Yes, I agree with you, Aina, and also with our interviewees, because these races are mostly caused by the immigrating from other countries as well as interracial relationship.
Lastly, different countries have cultural norms that people conform to, and these norms directly influence how individuals in intimate relationships communicate. These norms also affect other behaviors and attitudes that significantly affect relationships.
Yeah, I agree with you. Based on the interviewees also, I also agree that having a good relationship with younger generation is actually more easier than with older generations. This is because the younger generations are more educated and open-minded, unlike the old generations. And also the different cultures bring its own uniqueness that can attract many people, so we can keep a good relationship between different cultures also.
So I think that's all from us.
Thank you.